Okay, so I figured I might need to do a spoiler review. So this is spoilers. We're going into spoilers territory. This is a spoilers review slash explanation slash breakdown type of thing. For people, because I've seen a lot of reviews that came out talking about, a lot of them think that Cole Young is the champion of Mortal Kombat, and Sub-Zero's trying to stop him because he is the champion of Mortal Kombat. He's going to be the champion. He's going to be the person to take out Shang Tsung. That is not the case at all. And I'm going to explain the situation and where I can see it going, where I see it going. So, as a fan of the Mortal Kombat series, I have really big, high hopes for what this is building up to. And the reason is because they start off by explaining, or by showing the feud between the Lin Kuei and the Shirai Ryu. And of course, if anybody who's fans of the games would know what this feud is, it's Scorpion versus Sub-Zero and their clans. Scorpion and his clan is the Shirai Ryu. Sub-Zero and his clan are the Lin Kuei. They are rival clans. And in the movie, Scorpion is a rival. His clan is Japanese. Sub-Zero is Chinese. And that's where the rivalry comes in between the two clans. So, in the movie, Sub-Zero goes to Hanzo Hasashi's compound and he takes out the entire clan, including Hanzo Hasashi's wife and son. Now, the one thing that changed in this movie that didn't happen in the games was Hanzo Hasashi has a daughter in this movie. In the games, that wasn't the case. He had a son and he had a wife that was also killed by Sub-Zero. There's more to go to that story, but it doesn't get into this movie, so we're not going to get into it in this. So Sub-Zero kills Hanzo Hasashi's wife and son, or Bihan. Sub-Zero kills Hanzo Hasashi's wife and son because there are two Sub-Zeros, which that's going to be explained later if there's sequels. Hanzo Hasashi is Scorpion. He becomes Scorpion. Now, what happens is he's pissed because his wife and his son are murdered and he wasn't there to help. He wasn't there to prevent it. Because of this, when the Lin Kuei come in, he destroys them with ease. Then it comes to Bihan. He's fighting Bihan. There's good back and forth between the two of them. But Bihan gets the upper hand. Sub-Zero gets the upper hand. Bihan, Sub-Zero, same person. Like I said, there's two Sub-Zeros, so we're just getting into Bihan right now. But Bihan gets the upper hand. Kills Scorpion. Scorpion tells him, "Remember this face." And as he falls down to the ground, Bihan says, "For the Lin Kuei," and he walks away. Scorpion hears his baby girl, and it wakes him up. He's almost dead. He's almost to the point where he's going to die. And he hears the baby girl crying, and he wakes up and he starts crawling towards her. He doesn't make it. He dies. And he gets engulfed in flames and gets sent to the Nether Realm. This is when Raiden shows up. Raiden shows up, grabs the kunai, and grabs the little girl and takes off. And then it comes to the part where I'm guessing most people, or almost everybody, thought that it was going to basically be Cole Young being the champion of Mortal Kombat and winning the 10th tournament for Earthrealm. This is not the case, and I will read this to you so you can see, but this is a direct screenshot from the film itself, and I will also read it. It says, Earthrealm is on the verge of catastrophe. Should it lose one more tournament, the savage realm of Outworld will invade, but an ancient prophecy foretells that a group of champions will be united by the rise of Hanzo Hasashi's blood. Now, Cole Young is Hanzo Hasashi's blood. This is saying that Cole Young will unite a group of champions. Not that he will be the champion of Mortal Kombat. And I think a lot of people got that misconstrued. They flat out thought that it meant that he was going to be the champion of Mortal Kombat. That is not the case. It's saying he will unite the champions. And now, comes to the movie. It follows Cole Young. He's being hunted down by Sub-Zero because the prophecy has stated that Cole Young is to unite the champions of Mortal Kombat. So Shang Tsung doesn't want this to happen. So he sends out Sub-Zero to hunt down and kill the champions of Mortal Kombat, as well as Hanzo Hasashi's bloodline. He mainly wants Hanzo Hasashi's bloodline exterminated. Sub-Zero thought he killed Hanzo Hasashi's bloodline, but Shang Tsung informs him there is a descendant of Hanzo Hasashi. So you missed someone. And he shows up, tries to kill Cole Young. Jax rescues him. Jax tells him to go meet Sonya and get his family to safety. So Jax goes after Sub-Zero. That's when he loses his arms. Cole Young goes to meet Sonya. When he gets to Sonya's, Sonya has Kano in chains because she was hunting down another Mortal Kombat champion, and when she got there, Kano killed him. When Kano killed him, he took the mark. So Sonya didn't get the chance to bring this champion back because he was killed by Kano. Now, she also explains to Cole that Jax, how he got his mark, was 7 years ago. They were on a mission in Brazil. They came across a superhuman individual that had powers, and it tore through their unit in seconds. She said when Jax took him down, the mark transferred onto Jax. That's why, like in the trailers, it showed when Jax was talking to Cole Young, and his daughter's like, it's a birthmark. He's like, what do you mean? She's like, he was born with it. That was taken completely out of context in the trailer. Jax didn't know that you could be born with a mark. He thought that it was transferred. So did Sonya. So it makes complete sense in the movie. Now, reptile or a reptilian Sauron comes in, and Sauron is the race of reptiles in Outworld, if you don't know. But Sauron comes in and tries to kill Cole Young and take out the whole group. And Kano gets freed by using the acid of the Sauron that was dripping out of its mouth onto some metal. He breaks the chains using the acid. He goes after the Sauron, ends up killing it, ripping its heart out. You've seen it in the trailer. And he goes to escape, or goes to leave, not escape, because he's already freed, but he just goes to leave. And he's talking about Raiden's temple, and Sonya's like, you know where Raiden's temple is? He's like, yeah. And she's like, well, where is it? He's like, you gonna write this down? She's like, yeah, give me a second. He's like, yeah, go fuck yourself. But I thought that was funny as hell. Kano is perfect in the movie. Like, Kano is fantastic. But anyway, he goes to walk away. Sonya's like, look, I'll give you $2 million. And he's like, you don't got $2 million. You live in this shithole. And she's like, she goes off because he said that. And he's like, fine, $3 million. So she's like, all right, $3 million. So Kano gets a plane. And they're headed to Raiden's temple. Because basically what Sonya's wanting to do is she's wanting to get Cole there so he can train. They meet Liu Kang on the way to Raiden's temple. Of course, they're going the wrong way because Kano ain't able to look at a compass very well, apparently. But so Liu Kang shows them the right way to go. They get to Raiden's temple, and while they're here, lost my train of thought. Hold on a second. Okay, so they get to Raiden's temple. While they're here, Raiden looks at him, and he's basically like, you don't know any abilities yet. He looks at Sonya. He's like, you don't even have the mark. He looks at Kano, and Kano's like, well, what about me? He's like, what's my fortune cookie say? And Raiden shoots him with lightning. So Kano gets back up. And he's basically like, you're an asshole. And you still don't have your powers. And anyway, so they start doing the training thing. Cole Young basically tells Raiden, he's like, look, I would die for my family, so... And Raiden's like, alright, fine, you guys can train here. So they start training him. And, so I want to get to, like, the main thing here, because they set it up in the movie where you know who the champion of Mortal Kombat's going to be. You know who the person is that's going to win the tournament. And it's not Cole Young. That's the main thing I want you to take away from this. So, since we're going into spoilers, I'm not going to break down the entire movie. But basically, Shang Tsung shows up with his group of bad guys or whatever. And he's like, so these are your fighters? Or these are your champions? Kill them. So the other group gets ready to kill him. And Raiden puts up an electrical barrier. And the electrical barrier is controlled by his staff. Excuse me. Now, Cabal knows Kano because they're both in the Black Dragon. Black Dragon is a gang of some sort of sorts. It's like weapon deals. This ragtag group of bad guys that deal in weapons. You know, whoever pays the highest gets the most, or gets the weapons, or whatever. Murders for hire, things like that. So, that's what this group is. That's what the Black Dragon is. Cabal is part of the Black Dragon, so is Kano. And Cabal tells Shang Tsung, he goes, yeah, it's because of Kano that I'm wearing this iron lung. He's like, he's an asshole, you're going to love him. So they go back, so Cabal goes back and talks to Kano through the barrier. And he's like, you know, if you're still the same person, then why are you on the wrong side? And Kano's like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, over here, he's like, you can have anything you ever wanted. He goes, you could turn this whole temple into a casino. He's like, anything you can think of. He's like, any amount of money. He's like, double it, then double it again. It's yours. And then Kano's like, well, what do I have to do? So he ends up destroying Raiden's staff, which is keeping the barrier up, allowing everybody to come in. And we're getting to the coolest fatality in this movie because Natara is going after Kung Lao. And it's only after Kung Lao throws his hat and tries to cut off Shang Tsung's head. Shang Tsung tilts his head to the side so Kung Lao's hat don't hit him. It gets stuck in a rock. And then Natara is flying in. Natara flies in to kill Kung Lao. Kung Lao jumps up on her back, summons the hat to the ground, and it starts spinning. And then he rams Natara right into the hat, splitting her in half down the middle. He jumps off her back, the hat flies up to his head, and he wipes off the blood, and he's like, flawless victory. To me, that was the best fatality in the movie. Now, before this happens, though, Raiden basically sends Cole Young home because Cole Young cannot learn his abilities. Kano is able to learn his abilities because he gets pissed off. So he's able to shoot a laser beam out of his eye. And that's how he destroys the staff. But Cole Young is sent home to his family. And at this time, Goro is teleported to Cole Young's home inside of a barn. So he comes out of the barn, Cole Young's fighting him, Cole Young's getting his ass beat, he's about to die, he's about to get killed, and Cole Young's wife runs out there with a axe and jams it in his side, a wood-cutting axe. So he knocks her back, he drops Cole Young, goes after Cole Young's wife and daughter, they get in the truck, his wife tries to run over Goro, and Goro's just beating in the top of this truck. He tears open the door, pulls him out, and that's when Cole Young's arcana or abilities come, right? And he's got okay abilities. They're not great. But he's got this armor basically that can take kinetic energy. He can take kinetic energy and he can use it to make weapons, or he can use it to make punches do more damage. So he starts attacking Goro, and Goro's just wailing on this armor. And it just keeps glowing red, glowing red, glowing red. And his daughter's like, use the uppercut, Dad. So he brings all that red energy into his fist. That kinetic energy goes directly into his fist. All this power that Goro had hit him with. And he uppercuts Goro. When he does, it knocks Goro back. It doesn't knock him down, but it knocks him back. And his mouth starts bleeding. So he goes up trying to fight Goro. Goro just keeps wailing on him, and this kinetic energy starts building up again. And this time he makes weapons. He makes a tonfa in one hand and some kind of bladed tonfa in the other. And he runs up, starts slashing Goro with a bladed tonfa. He ends up cutting Goro's arm off. And then he guts Goro. Like, you see his entrails just pour out of him. And he also takes the tonfa and shoves it into his head. But that really doesn't matter because he's already gutted him. Then at this point, Raiden teleports him back. He tells Shang Tsung, he's like, thank you for getting Cole Young's Arcana to come through. And then he tells Sub-Zero that Cole Young has the blood of Hanzo Hasashi. Which is a stupid thing to do, but hey, it happened. And then Raiden starts to teleport everybody out of there. And as Cole Young gets ready to get teleported out of there through lightning, he gets hit in the back by an ice ball of Sub-Zero's, and he goes flying forward. So Raiden decides to send in Kung Lao to save Cole Young. And Liu Kang is fighting Cabal at this time. But so Kung Lao comes in, saves Cole Young. Cole Young gets teleported out of there. Or no, Cole Young don't get teleported out of there yet, but he saves Cole Young. And Shang Tsung summons, or basically forces Kung Lao over to his hand. He just pulls him in using, like, I don't know, the Force from Star Wars or something. This is the best way I can explain it. And he grabs him by the throat, lifts him up, and sucks his soul out of his body, killing him. Liu Kang runs in to try to stop it, but Cole Young pulls Liu Kang back, and Raiden teleports him out of there. And they're teleported in between realms. A realm that's in between realms. And everybody at this point has given up hope. Kung Lao has passed away. And this is where I want to explain why I have high hopes for future installments. Because at that point, they just set up Liu Kang to be the champion of the 10th Mortal Kombat tournament. And the reason I'm saying that is because Kung Lao and Liu Kang are cousins. Even in this movie, they say so. They say they're more like brothers, but they're cousins. And if you remember in the original Mortal Kombat movie, Liu Kang had a brother that was killed by Shang Tsung. And that was his whole goal for killing Shang Tsung, is to avenge his brother's death. They're going to do the same exact thing with Liu Kang and Kung Lao. They're going to make it to where Liu Kang can avenge Kung Lao's death in the Mortal Kombat tournament and kill Shang Tsung. I have no doubt in my mind that that's what they're doing. And Cole Young brings them all together, and he's like, look, we have to fight. He's like, we have to do this. We're going to do this, and we're going to do it on our terms. We need to get them separate, and we need to fight them separately. And that's where the fights come in. I was right about my theory. Jax does fight Raiko on the bridge, or on the pit stage. However, he uses the head clap fatality. I would love to see that. I love that fatality, and it's fine that they did it, but I would have rather seen the pit fatality. I would have rather seen him uppercut Raiko into the pit and have him land on the spikes. That would have been so much better. Sonya ends up fighting Kano, and this is the big thing for me, because they set up so many characters in this movie, and I don't think anybody sees it. Like, I don't know why, but they don't see it. Sonya kills Kano by jamming a garden gnome in his eye. In his right eye. Where his right eye could be replaced with a metal cybernetic eye. Why is no one seeing this? Kano has a cybernetic eye in the Mortal Kombat games. He's going to come back in the sequel, people. He's going to come back with the cybernetic eye. Okay. They set up Noob Sabat to come back. Whether it's in this one or the sequel, Noob Sabat will be back. Or Sub-Zero will be back as Noob Sabat. They set up Liu Kang to be the champion of the Mortal Kombat tournament. I don't know why people don't see this. Like, everything is being set up perfectly. And even at the end of the movie, there's this big Easter egg, because Raiden basically says, there's more fighters out there that we need to get. And Cole Young's like, who's first? Then he quits cage fighting. And the guy's like, well, where are you going to go? He's like, Hollywood. He's like, well, what's in Hollywood? And Cole Young's like, not what? Who? Then he leaves. And the guy's like, well, whatever. And as the guy walks past, it pans to a poster, a movie poster, that says Citizen Cage, starring Johnny Cage. And it says, fight for your rights. And it doesn't show his face, but it shows his body, and it shows the belt buckle that says Cage. And that's a perfect setup for Johnny Cage to come in the next movie. We don't get to the tournament in this movie. This is a build up to the tournament. To the 10th tournament. So yeah, and the thing is, Melina dies. Melina is a clone, though. She was born in the flesh pits from the blood of Tarkatan and Katana. There's a lot of Melina clones. So they could bring CC Stringer back to play Melina anytime. Okay? Kano. Yes, he dies. But they could put a metal plate in his head. A cybernetic plate, bringing him back to life using cybernetics. Sub-Zero, he can come back as Noob Sabat. They've already set it up. They have set up a lot of things in this movie for the Mortal Kombat tournament. Johnny Cage coming in, it would still be the first game because it's still the tournament. It's still the 10th tournament. I don't know why people aren't seeing this. They wanted to give an origin story to basically everybody to make it on even playing ground. I guess, like, so people are introduced to these characters. So people are introduced to Scorpion. So people are introduced to Sub-Zero. So they're introduced to Sonya, Jax, Kano, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and they can bring these people back. I'm sure they'll do something with Kung Lao. Like, I'm sure he'll get brought back later, somehow. But yeah, there's so many avenues they could take. They could do a Shaolin Monks movie. They could do a Special Forces movie. But it seems like all the reviews that I've seen talk about Cole Young being champion of Mortal Kombat and he's replacing Liu Kang. That's not the case at all. Like, if you watch the movie, if you see where this is going, you can tell that he's not replacing Liu Kang. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoy the breakdown. And yes, I should have stated this at the beginning. I'll put it in the title, but it is spoilers. It's very spoilery because I'm going into the entire movie. But if you like the breakdown, and if you are like me and like where this is going, share this video, like this video, comment, tell me things that you would like to see in future movies. If you would like to see any future movies at all, tell me what you thought about this movie, because I thought it was great. I thought 8.5 was perfect scoring for it. This movie isn't perfect. The editing is terrible. Like, the fight scene editing, it was really, really bad. But that's the editing, and they probably cut a lot of this movie out to try to make it under 2 hours. I would say that was probably Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers didn't want to make it over 2 hours long, because I don't know for sure, but I'm saying I would, if I had to guess, because the last Mortal Kombat movie that came out by New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers was atrocious, and I don't think they really had faith in Mortal Kombat films. So they're like, you know what? We'll do this. We don't have faith in it, but you got to make it under 2 hours. So there was a whole lot of editing that had to go into it, and I guarantee you that's what the whole thing was. Guarantee there was a lot that was cut out. But yeah, I want to see a director's cut. I want to see an extended version, because I know they got some footage sitting on the. I know they got some footage sitting in the back that they haven't used. And I just want to see an extended version, director's cut. I would love to see that. So if you guys like my, explanation, breakdown, share this, tell me your thoughts, like, subscribe, all that. I love this movie, and I will fight for this movie. I'm going to go see it again in theaters. But until then, see you guys next time. Peace.